Hello, it's I, Snaggletooth, your friendly psychic wizard, here to convey some things to you today. Gush is me accent dot bar. That's where, look at the way they're typing stuff down there. Here, I'll fix that. Okay, that's it all fixed up. It's all ready to go now. Anyway, as I was saying, I've been traveling around quite a bit, all the different planes. I know I told you they're gathering this tome together and putting all these things for us. So I'll discuss that, and first let's impart some things to you by use of my great psychic powers. Just a minute here, let me see. Okay, I have the envelopes to read to you. Because using proper tea is theft. It says, why do communists drink only herbal tea? Because using proper tea is theft. Property theft. Yes. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. It says you can lift it with a pitchfork. You can lift it with a pitchfork. And the message reads, what is the difference between a dead goblin and a cannonball? You can lift it with a pitchfork, of course. Now we'll do the final envelope before we go on to the questions that you have asked. Because they can trip. Because they can trip. Why are spellcasters so unbalanced? Because they can trip. Can trip. Ah, you get it? I understand that one myself, being a psychic wizard, you know. Alright. Let's move on to the questions our viewers have proposed to us today. They've written in some things, and here we go. What exactly is a familiar spirit? The find familiar spell allows a player to summon a familiar spirit. A spirit that takes an animal form that you choose. Though it is a celestial, fae, or fiend, your choice instead of a beast. The beast is just the embodiment of this spirit. That raises the question, what exactly is a familiar? Does it have a true form? Do they have personalities of their own? Where do they come from? What sets familiars granted by the Warlock's Pact of the Chain apart from those granted by a found familiar spell. Personally, this person writes, personally my idea is they might be weak, semi-sentient bundles of supernatural energy that the conjurer binds to a physical form rather than the familiar spirit, true form being specified as a stated creature like an imp or a sprite. As for the Pact of Chain familiars, I imagine that either the patron assists the warlock in binding together more supernatural energy to get a more powerful familiar that serves the warlock. For example, a celestial patron might turn a repentant soul into a familiar as an act of humility and penance, or an archfey could forcibly transform a pixie that's been spreading some nasty rumors about them as punishment. The fellow proceeds to continue, that's just a weird theory of mine, and though I doubt it actually has any kind of basis in published D&D fluff, I know there's no real canon for D&D, but I was wondering if anyone had any ideas for flavor, or if the previous editions had any more details. A rogue responded by saying, according to the Find Familiar spell, you summon a spirit and the creature is considered fey, celestial, or fiendish. I like to imagine that the spell is the ritual to call forth a spirit that is similar to the caster in spirit and attitude. That is more than just giving a spirit a physical form, but also creating a supernatural and intimate connection for the companion. Even if the caster is a cold, calculating individual, the familiar will also be cold and calculating as well, but will mostly be one mind and attitude and will subtly influence the caster as well. The Pact of the Chain is similar, but instead of a caster calling forth and searching for a spirit, one is chosen for you that is subservient to your patron. It is bound to serve and aid you, but for the most part, it is also loyal to your patron and will try to influence you to take actions and attitudes that further the patron's goals. He goes on, for example, of Find Familiar. Here's the story of his wizard Chumpy. His familiar is a fey purple marten named Griggs. As part of his backstory, Find Familiar was the first spell he ever cast, as Chumpy was an urchin with a tough life and had no family. A childlike fey spirit answered his call. The spirit was also lonely and had to be deeply without words, and they were searching for something more than simple fun. So the spell aided them and in helping create a deep-seated memory that Chumpy had of once some of the purple birds building a nest. They seemed so free in brief moment Chumpy dreamed of flying away from the harsh streets and alleys of the city. The spirit Griggs took physical shape and assumed the form of one of those birds. What a story he created. But he'd rather dismiss Griggs than allow him to get hurt, even if Griggs doesn't truly die or get injured being a familiar spirit. Personally, he likes the idea of the familiar having a form, personality, and potentially goals that are entirely unknown to the wizard or warlock. It gives them a lot more potential than just being the thing that lets you scout for free. Another person said, an insane kobold necromancer. What exactly is a familiar? Is it a spirit that you order around? Does it have a true form? No. Do they have personalities of their own? It does whatever you tell it to, so not likely. Where do they come from? It depends on what creature type you pick. Another fellow wrote about the warlock. He sets the familiars granted by the Pact of the Chain apart from those granted by a normal Find Familiar spell. And it says to reference and read the Pact of the Chain feature. All of it does give another option for forms rather than giving you a legit spirit, sprite, or imp, or pseudo-dragon. But I'm pretty sure 90% of the DMs and players roleplay it as an actual sprite, imp, etc. I know, but why? What makes them stronger and able to take the extra forms? I realize that the designers likely didn't think about this beyond just the mechanics, and I could really use some kind of information in-universe explanation about this and for it. Personally, I would concur with most of the other players and DMs said above. In reference to, likewise, if you have a new PC class, so we do, the people that are working on this reference, as I mentioned earlier, have a new playing character class, the Herbal Wizard, and a new spell summoned Woodland Guardian. This goes hand in hand with the homebrew materials that are out there in reference to Find Familiars, Celestials, Guardian Celestial, which all refer to and give credence to how all of this works and or is supposed to work. Druids, Clerics, Wizards, Locks, and our new NPC Herbal Healer all rely on those same principles on how they operate for these powers. So it's basically in your game's documentation. Just do some research there and you'll see, just talk to your DM ahead of time is the main thing. It is better for you to talk with him beforehand instead of just throwing it out there and surprising him with it later and hoping he'll decide for the best in your favor. That's basically it. That's all I have for now. Please also look at our preview sneak peek of the new character class, which is now found on our other social media sites. And until the next time, remember, they're all out there. And they're watching, so be careful what you say and do. That's it for now. It's Snaggletooth once again, and y'all have a wonderful day.